How the heck are you, everybody? I'm Fastidious. Welcome to my channel. Watcher of Realms never has new content. Just kidding. We get a new piece of content every month. It's actually kind of crazy. I love it. Am I biased because I love the game? Yeah. Does it matter? No. This is crazy. We literally get like a new boss every month. It's wild. It's not even a bias. I just love the game, and this is part of the reason why. Here we go. Immortal Codex new boss. It's a Boreas themed boss. I believe they're calling him the Arbiter of Frost. Let us see. Yes, the Arbiter of Frost. We're going to do a boss breakdown right now. No intro needed today. I just want to get into the nitty-gritty, tell you guys how to start preparing, in part because we're going to hop into the gallery in a second where I'm going to go over heroes that I think can shine here. Keep in mind, I'm going in fairly blind. I tried to avoid spoilers, but we have a Quarter of Glory event ending in 14 hours. So it'll be about 13 and a half hours from when this video goes live. You can see I've got plenty of points I still need to do. I got to hop in the XP raid, and maybe you're like me, and you're like, who do I level up? You know, if you're earlier on, you have a clear vision. If you're like me, I have tons of 6-star heroes. I'm always just looking for who to level up next. This is going to help you. I think this really is going to help you because a lot of these heroes are some less conventional heroes because of the specific mechanics of this boss fight. So this guy's all about dot damage. If you ever hear dot damage, I remember when I first started playing gacha games, people said dot, dot, dot. I was like, is it because they're placing dots? The little debuffs look like dots, or like a little bleed icon looks like a dot? No, dot is an acronym. It stands for damage over time. So anything that is this amount of damage every second, that kind of thing. And it's unique for this fight because it's not just your typical things like poison or bleed or burn. We're also seeing hero-specific things like Aracha's spider toxin, or like Pyros is listed. And yes, Pyros on his ultimate has a also during this mark, when the enemy that the hero has placed the mark on has the mark, they take this amount of damage every second. All this counts as damage over time for this fight, dot damage. So without further ado, the Boreas Boss, the Arbiter of Frost. Kind of sounds like a rhyme there. The Arbiter of Frost has extremely high defense, magic res, and damage reduction, so everything. But also takes increased continuous damage, so this is how you're going to put damage out on him. It has to be continuous damage over time. The Arbiter of Frost periodically generates cryocores, so some kind of frozen ball, it sounds like to me, which the commander must shatter in a given period of time. Maybe you even should apply damage over that period of time. We'll have to see. Deployed heroes who deal continuous damage to the Arbiter of Frost or his cryocores will regain HP. So they'll be able to stay alive better, the dot damage heroes, the damage over time heroes, and they will put out the damage that is needed for this fight to overcome the tremendously high defense, magic resistance, and damage reductions. When cryocores are shattered, the Arbiter of Frost will enter a weakened state. We're kind of used to this. Think of the Zealous Styx boss. When you break his shield, he enters a weakened state. Things like this. Enter a weakened state, taking further continuous damage. So more, it's all about this one mechanic. If cryocores are left intact, however, they will continuously crystallize and deal heavy damage. So it's kind of like with the Styx boss again. If you don't break the shields, then he wipes you. He does super intense damage. They're calling it heavy damage here, while also increasing the Arbiter of Frost attack while they're posing a serious threat to your team. So this is a nice little taste. Like I said, I'm going in pretty blind, but we know you got to deal dot damage. You got to deal some continuous damage over time. Continuous damage is the theme of this entire fight. It's nice that they're finding ways to involve new heroes, give us new heroes to build, keeping your roster alive and fluid and interesting. So guides now. When facing the Arbiter of Frost, commanders need to be strategic, attacking the Arbiter and his cryocores with single target continuous damage. Okay, so not AoE continuous damage. I think both would be fine. I don't see why, the explosion of Aracha's spider toxin and does AoE poison, it would still poison the guy. I'd be shocked if she's going to be penalized because that is an AoE. By this token, heroes who deal strong single target continuous damage will have a significant upper hand in the battle. Now, they start recommending heroes. Look at that first hero there. I think it's kind of offensive that they're having some hero with such a risque name like Anal as the first, Anai is the first recommended hero. I'll tell you though, I heard about this fight, a month ago whenever it came to Forerunner. I was like, no spoilers, and people said, hey, maybe Anai is going to be good now, because Anai is kind of a meme on my channel, and from everyone I've talked to on Forerunner, unless they change it on launch on Global, she is not good at all, and I'm going to get into that shortly. However, she does have burns, so there's some viability viability there, but keep in mind, a key thing here is continuous. You want heroes that not only have a consistent uptime, but the kind of uptime on their dot damage, on their continuous damage over time that you can control. Right? So a Nai with an auto ult, not great, especially since it's not that cheap. Think of someone like Wrath with a 300 cost ultimate. Granted, it's an auto ult. That's a lot better, right? Or someone like Aurum, who's just going to apply it whenever he puts his shield up on his basic attack. That's a lot more consistent. That's going to be a lot stronger. There's a lot of different types of dot damage, though. A lot of different viable heroes, so let's get into it. First off, we've got a Nai, that's Burns, right? Then we've got Praetus, now we're thinking Radiant Erosion, and it's so weird. Praetus is such a slept-on hero. He doesn't really excel in any content, so this is an interesting way of introducing a way for him to find something he's good at. Jokes aside, Praetus is literally good at everything now. He's the most pay-to-win hero in the game, and he is by far the best here in the game. You can talk about your hot soot, your Boreas. They are useless so far in Codex. Praetus is just top triple S in so many codexes, right? So many codices. So now he's going to be top here. He's already top in Styx. He's already broken in all the other content in the game. I really think we're on the verge of a Praetus problem. I'm not saying anything needs to be changed, guys. Do not twist my words. I don't want to see my name popping up in a dev Q&A. Do not manipulate my words. But I'm just saying, Praetus is so supremely the best at so many things, people are going to start complaining. I'm just warning you. I'm not saying anything needs to change. Let bygones be bygones. All that can be, can be. But Praetus, another place he's going to be triple S, right? Alistair now. We've got our first ever legendary hero fusion back from December, our Christmas fusion. He is pretty good. Go check out Ronaldo's content. Alistair is viable in a lot of things. I still want to properly test him out. But the cool thing with Alistair, I really do think he'll shine here because Radiant Erosion is going to be its own form of damage over time, and he applies it very consistently. And now some no-brainers. We've got Soul Cadens, the absolute burn god. Another piece of content the insanely triple S amazing hero Soul Cadens can excel in. How fun. And then we've got Lust. I'm not saying, of course, these amazing heroes should continue to excel. It's just funny. It's just like, look, Soul Cadens is good again. Look, Praetus is good again. They're just good at everything. Then we've got Lust, a total superstar. 800 costs on the ultimate when you skill her up. And if you got the Arrogance Bond, you're going to need the Arrogance Bond for her to really shine. 100% continued uptime for 20 seconds during her ultimate. It is a manual ultimate. That is so useful because you can control it at the moments you need it against the Cryocores or the Arbiter of Frost, Boreas Boss. Now we've got an Assault. He applies burns and poisons. I believe he had a shadow patch a couple months ago, like 1 or 2 months ago. He had a proper patch about 3 or 4 months ago. It'll be fun to test him out. I definitely think I will. Maybe I'll build up my Assault. Why not? Let's have a little fun. Now we've got some no-brainers here. Zela 2, Arrogance, Hex, some of the best heroes in the entire game. What more is there to say? And all of them have burn. Now, some interesting things you might not have thought of. Lasir has a unique thing to him called Sand Erosion. My experience with Sand Erosion is that's how he applies his ridiculously powerful slows, but technically, Sand Erosion is dot damage, so that could be viable. Then we've got Virna. I forget what you even call it. Let me pop open the gallery right now. We can head over to Virna, or I guess I'm in my roster. Let's go to Virna. I really wish I had her skin. So she's got her basic attack over here. You don't think anything special, but if you look at the talent, all of her basic attacks actually inflict damage over time. Her Mortal Kiss deals continuous AoE magic damage over time. Now, again, we'll see. They're like single target damage over time. I don't see why that would be a stipulation. I mean, 25% of the caster's attack, it is what it is, man. It doesn't matter if it's AoE or not. I think this should be viable and strictly unique. One thing I have heard from some of the Forerunner people that have already played this is you want different types of dot damage. I don't know if you can only allow one at a time in a bar of the boss, like the debuff bar of the Boreas Boss and the Cryocores or something, but people are like, you need variety. Well, that's variety, right? That's specific to her when it comes to that Mortal Kiss. Moving right along, some other unique things. We've got the Curse Bombs from Morrigan. Those bombs are some form of damage over time, they're saying. Now, some obvious ones. Salazar, a Bleed King. Bleed is going to be really nice for this. Vladiv, I think, is going to be a superstar. He's got the best bleed uptime of basically anyone in the game right now. If you've got him A1, all of us that were playing got him from the fusion. That was an easy fusion, so that should be really viable. I think my Vladiv's like A3, so I'm definitely going to make sure I have him ready for this fight to try out. Aurum, like I said, has a very, very, very high uptime on his his burns, that's going to make him, I think, a lot more viable than Anai or something, right? Because it's very consistent uptime. Anai has a 20% chance on her basic attacks. Aurum is a 40% chance when he has a shield up. As long as he's base attacking, he's putting up the shield. As long as they're attacking with any frequency, it should be basically 100% uptime that Aurum puts out on burns. If it's about quantity of burns, all right, then maybe Anai is a star, or Soul Cadence already was going to be a star, but he could be really great for that as well. Twin Fiend, there's a little burn action there as well. Now, Cuke was on all of the top 10 teams I saw in a picture from Forerunner sent to me just the other day. Cuke was on all of them. So a rare hero. All of us can get him for 60 diamonds all the time from the shop. A lot of us have probably pulled him about 10,000 times, but Cuke is going to be an amazing option. I have just 6-starred my Cuke. I suggest you do too. When it comes to poison, he's the best poisoner right now in the game. Now they're suggesting Screef. Literally, there's no world where you should build Screef. Screef is Cutter, except worse. There's nothing else to it, right? Cutter is Screef, but with a faction. There's slight distinction in the kit, but the frequency of poison is identical. There is no way you shouldn't be going for Cutter over Screef, but just go for Cuke. These guys are uncommons. You can't skill them up. Cuke can have a 200 rage cost ult. These guys are at 300 rage cost to put the poisons out. Then they have similar things on the basics, so just build Cuke. Every single team top 10 had Cuke. Moving on, now they're breaking it down by the dot damage. Here are all our burn heroes, so a lot of them we already talked about. A couple more that we didn't mention. Iax. There's no way Iax is going to... Let's call a spade. Maybe I'm just wrong, and then you guys can roast me. I would be so supremely shocked if Iax is viable for this content with the way he puts out his burns and, you know, the big AoE. If they're penalizing AoE, I mean, there's no way. There's no way. I'm not saying he'll be bad, but how is he a top option over a free hero like Wrath? Wrath is going to be excellent. Let's see. Titus, I think, will be a supremely terrible option. I think they're just naming everyone that does burn. Azoth, there could be viability there. He's got really high uptime on his burns. Abomination, if the fight's longer, I feel like most of the Codex fights have been 5 minutes. Once he gets his second ult and it becomes permanent, that's pretty cool. That's a ton of burning. Another place Abomination could maybe shine or participate because he's obviously really good in Conqueror. I'm talking in the realm of the Codex bosses. Now, Poison Heroes, Nasalt making another appearance. Like I said, he does 2 kinds of debuffs. So I think people balling on a budget, if we need variety of dot damage debuffs, right? Nassalt's bringing 2. That's pretty cool. Cuke, like I said, is going to be the superstar. Everyone used him on Forerunner. I'm talking like Ray. I'm talking the top players on Forerunner, top 5 in the world for Forerunner. They were all using Cuke. Then we've got Cutter, very strong, Screef, useless, and Liam, pretty cool. It lasts longer, but again, I think Cuke is the obvious choice here. You're only going to need 1 poison hero from what I hear. When it comes to bleed, these guys are all viable. I think now that Vladov was basically free, and you see they're even putting the 1, they're saying, well, you're going to want A1 Vladov. Yeah, for the crazy uptime, you need A1 Vladov. It's kind of interesting that they put that there. But he completely outclasses Komodo, leave him at home. Sargak post-buff is going to be a lot better, but his uptime will not compete with Vladov. Lugaru post-buff, Lugaru is just amazing, so if he can put out normal damage, which I don't think he'll be able to, it seems like it's only going to be dot damage, he could be the best. Same with Salazar, probably right after Lugaru, but I do think Vladov will have the best uptime. We'll have to play around with it. I don't know the exact mechanics, but these are some great shouts. I'll just give you my MVPs, just gut check looking at this. I'm thinking Cuke, I'm thinking Vladov, and then probably if you have A1 Salazar is a great option. I'm thinking Wrath is going to be super strong. I am thinking if you've got Lust bonded with Arrogance, I think that's crazy uptime. And then obviously I think Soul Cadence is going to be just amazing. I'll say Sleeper Hit might be Aurum. Let's go to the next, and now this is where it gets interesting. Radiant Erosion, they're just ignoring Pelagios. I guess they're not interested in Pelagios, but a lot of the Arbiters can do it. Praetus, amazing at it. Alistar, tremendously high uptime on the Alistar on the Radiant Erosion. I think he'd be my top choice. Most of us aren't going to have Praetus. If you have Praetus, you don't need me or anyone to tell you to use him. He's frickin' Praetus. But I think of all the other Arbiters, Alistar was free for all of us that were able to participate in the fusion, and he's really going to be really good for this fight. Tons of continuous damage out of Alistar. I think he's going to really be a great choice. Keep in mind, he also does like continuous damage on his basic, is how they phrase it. Similar to like Soul Cadence. Let me just show you that really quickly. I can pop open the game here. I don't have a Soul Cadence to show you. We could go in the gallery, but better let me just show you Alistar. You can see I still need to promote him, but you can see 80% damage to one enemy continuously. Is that going to count as continuous damage over time? I don't know. It is single target, so that might get them excited. I will actually show you, where is the boy? I will show you Soul Cadence. If we look at Soul Cadence over here, you can see he's got a similar thing. Actually, it reads identically. 80% damage. It goes up to 100% as well to one enemy continuously. That feels like a pretty good shout. And let me just go through these last few now. So if we go back here, click on, let's go here. You can see now other continuous damage. These are the people with unique things, right? Aracha has her spider toxin. If she kills someone, which it doesn't seem like you'll be able to kill people here, it would explode into AoE poison. Venoma, I don't even know what that is. Let's go check her kit. Virna obviously has the Curse Touch, or what, I always forget the name of it, the thing we just looked at. Morgan has the Curse Bombs. Lasir has the Sand Erosion. Now, Pyros, I'll show you that one. That is just funky. And guys, you can let me know in the comments if you find other ones, because clearly they're counting anything that does damage over time, continuous damage over X seconds, as this, right? So if I pop this back open, I'll show you guys Pyros. There's no burn. There's no something unique called like Sand Erosion or Radiant Erosion in this kit. Or not even Radiant Erosion, but Sand Erosion or Magic Hand or whatever, Cursed Hand, whatever it's called with Virna. But you can see on his ultimate, it does hidden back in here. I just checked it out. Moment to make a prioritized target while dealing 30% damage per second during the mark, which lasts 7 seconds. So they're counting that, even though it's like an untitled destruction command mark thing. That's pretty cool. So we can also probably make a list of everyone that will register. I mean, here's another one. The goddess herself. I didn't know Venoma had dot damage, had continuous damage over time. Curse is a debuff, right? That is it's like a lockout debuff. I don't know where the damage is here. Is it going to be the Hex? It's the Hex. Wow. Okay, so Hex is a debuff unique to her. Similar like Spider Toxin unique to Aracha. And you can see 20% continuous magic damage per second. And are they telling me the duration for 5 seconds? So there's an interesting option. Could Venoma be a superstar, not just a lord, but an actual hero for this fight? I don't think so. I don't think so. But it's a nice shout. I think I'll already wrap it up there, guys. It just doesn't need to be too long a video. Start thinking about what your team might be and start getting ready to build those heroes out. So all of you should 6-star your Cuke. Until I hear otherwise, he is a staple in every top team in the game. He's 100% free-to-play hero. I think Alistair is going to be amazing. I think I'm going to give budget options again. I think Wrath is going to be amazing. Wrath, I guess let's wrap up with Wrath. Let's Wrath up over here. Wrath is super good for this, right? He's putting out Burning during his ultimate. You need him awakened. Let's see when it actually comes. On A3, inflicts Burning on targets that take AoE damage from Heavy Blow, which is what he's doing during his ultimate. That is going to be over here. They're applying Burning, and that ultimate's coming up all the time, right? It's a 5-second burn, and Wrath, anyone that's used Wrath knows he's ulting constantly. This goes down to 300 costs when you skill him up. Just build a super speedy Wrath. If you're running like a Nightmare team, let's say you wanted to go heavy on burn, and you're running like Wrath with Lust, with Arrogance or something, or Wrath, Lust, and then maybe you're running Vladov as a Nightmare unit, so now you're getting these big things, so you're getting Bleed, or maybe with Salazar, right? There's a lot of cool things you can do with a Nightmare team. I really, really think he's going to shine. I think this is going to be one of the most, this kind of like with the Defenders, granted that was very Bastion Ring dependent when it came to the Soul Cadence boss. I think this is going to be a very fun free-to-play thing where people will figure out some nice little strategies. So on that note, let's end the video with my favorite hero in the game. Anal, I believe is her name. Where is she? Yeah, let's put up a picture of Anal over there. Guys, thank you so much for watching. My name has been Fastidious. If you like my stuff, like it. If you don't, dislike it. I don't mind. It's a good way to get feedback. As Ash says, all feedback is good feedback. Share it with your mother. Have fun prepping for the Arbiter of Frost boss. Obviously, as soon as that drops, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it drops on March the 6th. Otherwise, it will drop on March the 8th. When I have that, I'll put that in the top pinned comment. Get ready for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Literally, there's been like a new boss every month. I'm loving it. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.
Fastidious.